Sometimes it feels like you're just drowning in health advice, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. One day it's eat this, the next day definitely don't eat that.
Exactly. Or you just want to feel, I don't know, a bit healthier, but figuring out where to even start is, well, it's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
We heard from a listener who feels just like that, wanting to cut through the noise. So if that sounds like you, you're definitely in the right place today.
Yeah, definitely. And for this deep dive, we're trying something a little different. We're kind of stepping back from the complex scientific papers for a moment.
Right.
Instead, we've gathered, snapshots of real life, just snippets of conversations, friends chatting, failing advice, even a bit of guidance from a doctor.
Yeah, these little glimpses into how people actually talk about and do health in the real world. And it's kind of amazing how much practical wisdom comes out in these, totally ordinary exchanges.
It really is the stuff that actually shapes our days.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today really is to dig into these everyday chats, pull out the useful bits, and maybe find some surprising links about what living well actually looks like day to day.
Okay, let's dive in then. Maybe start with the basics. Physical health seems like the obvious place.
Good starting point.
That snippet about the doctor's advice really caught my eye. Someone just asking, how do I stay healthy? Simple question, right? But so important.
Totally fundamental. And the advice, though brief, hit some key points. Quitting smoking, that's a big one. Non-negotiable, really, given everything we know.
For sure.
And then the diet advice, low fat, avoid caffeine and sugar. It's broad, standard stuff, but very clear.
Yeah, direct. No complex theories. Just do this.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, though, how easy it is for someone to just implement that without more detail.
That's true. It's a starting point, I suppose. But then there was the exercise part.
Right, 30 minutes a day. That feels, achievable for most people, doesn't it?
It does. It's not about becoming an elite athlete overnight. It's about building a habit, that consistency. Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, the doctor allowed for 1 glass of wine a day. Moderation.
Yeah, acknowledging that life isn't just about restriction. There's a social element, too.
Exactly. A balanced approach.
Okay, so shifting gears slightly, but still on activity. That chat about walking in Greenfield Park, it sounded lovely.
It did, didn't it? And it wasn't just about, getting the steps in.
No.
The focus was really on the feeling, that sense of peace you get from being outdoors. The trails, the ponds. It painted a real picture.
Yeah, the mental clarity aspect.
And what was interesting there was the social bit popping up again. Ben and Emily planning to walk together.
Oh, right. Makes it more likely to stick, maybe.
Could do. Shared motivation makes it more enjoyable, perhaps.
That connects quite nicely to the gardening conversation, actually.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, it was physical activity, sure, but the real focus seemed to be on other things.
Like the benefits of your own veg, safety, taste.
Exactly. Knowing there are no chemicals, that freshness. But also the person offering help, sharing tips, it felt very communal.
Mm-hmm. Learning together. It turns a healthy activity into a social connection point.
Yeah. And then there's Anna with her swimming routine.
Ah, yes. The dedicated morning swimmer. That's about routine, isn't it? Building it into your day.
Totally. Making it automatic. And people recognized it too. Like, oh yeah, Anna swims. That's great fitness.
And again, that little hint of maybe a swimming group forming, this social thread just keeps weaving through.
It does, but it's not always smooth sailing, is it? We heard about Mary, whose son was ill and her sleep was completely disrupted.
Oh, yeah. That's such a relatable thing. And a stark reminder of how crucial sleep is.
Mm-hmm.
It's foundational. It affects your energy, your mood, how you think. It's often the first casualty when life gets tough.
Definitely. And a smaller point, but still important, the ear health tip.
Right. Don't use cotton buds. See a doctor if you think you have an infection, especially after swimming.
Seems minor, but those little things add up to feeling well or prevent feeling unwell, I guess.
Exactly. It's not all about grand gestures. Sometimes it's just looking after the details.
And looping back to the doctor's don't overdo it advice.
Yes.
We saw that reflected socially too, didn't we? The barbecue conversation and the brother who'd quit smoking.
Yeah, that's a really key point.
Yeah.
His quitting wasn't just about him, was it? It was happening within a supportive environment.
Right. Seeing others make changes or just being around people who support your choices seems really powerful.
Hugely influential. And the barbecue itself shows you don't have to become a hermit to be healthy. You find a balance, enjoy social events.
Makes sense. And one last physical bit, the dentist checkup.
Mm-hmm.
Just that brief mention of booking it, but also planning something relaxing for afterwards.
Yeah, connecting oral health to general well-being and building in that little bit of self-care around something potentially stressful.
It shows a kind of holistic view, doesn't it? Looking after yourself mentally even when you're doing physical health tasks.
Precisely. Which is a great segue, actually, into thinking more directly about mental and emotional well-being.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's shift focus. We already mentioned the walks in the park helping clear the head. That feeling of peace seemed like a recurring theme.
It really did. That simple act of getting into nature, even locally, kept coming up as a way to de-stress, find some calm.
Yeah.
It just highlights how much our environment affects our headspace, you know?
Definitely. But what really, jumped out at me was just how much socializing was happening. All those plans.
Oh, absolutely. Walks, movies, swimming, barbecues, game nights, dinner, galleries, coffee.
It was constant.
It really was. And it strongly suggests that, well, feeling good isn't something we achieve just on our own. We seem to need that connection.
Like these little interactions are maybe as important as the exercise or the diet.
I think they function like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Buffers against stress, mood boosters.
Yeah.
Like vitamins for the soul, maybe?
I like that. And we saw people sharing hobbies too, like the gardening we mentioned, or playing guitar.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just, I do this. It was, let me show you, or come listen. That sharing creates connection.
Yeah, encouragement, finding common ground seems vital.
Totally. And even the really simple relaxation stuff like planning to watch a movie after a tough day or the dentist.
Right. It normalizes needing that downtime, doesn't it?
Exactly. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just simple pleasures to recharge.
We also saw people dealing with those everyday frustrations, forgetting a wallet, struggling with furniture assembly.
Yes. And the response wasn't despair, was it? It was more like humor and leaning on friends.
Yeah. Can you believe I did this kind of thing? That resilience, helped by knowing someone's got your back.
Mm-hmm. Builds bonds.
And then there was Lisa, who seemed genuinely happy after ending a relationship that wasn't right.
That's a big one. Prioritizing your own mental health, even when the decision is hard.
Yeah, takes courage, but the payoff in terms of just feeling better seemed clear.
Definitely. And lastly, Maya needing to unwind after work.
Ordering takeout, watching a movie, simple.
But intentional. Recognizing the need, okay, I need to decompress, and doing something comforting. That's self-care right there.
It is. It doesn't need to be complicated at all.
Not at all.
Okay, so we've looked at all these different pieces, the physical, the mental, the social, but the really cool part is seeing how they all connect.
Yes. This is where the web becomes visible, doesn't it? It's not separate boxes.
Right.
Take the physical activity, walking, swimming. It wasn't just about fitness. It nearly always seemed linked to feeling better mentally, and often happens socially or led to social plans.
Yeah, like the walk becoming a shared activity.
Exactly. Or even the healthy eating, the gardening example that was discussed in the social context about sharing, learning together.
Mm-hmm. And the theme of starting new habits kept coming up. People planning to walk more, swim more, garden.
Yes. And crucially, the encouragement they got from friends. That seemed almost essential.
Like maybe the secret sauce isn't just willpower, but having someone cheering you on or joining in.
I think it's a huge part of it. That social support makes such a difference in actually sticking with things. It creates shared momentum.
Yeah, accountability in a good way. Thinking back to that walk in the park conversation, the real aha for me is just how simple that is.
Right.
A walk, something most people can do pretty much anywhere. And yet it seems to hit both physical and mental well-being notes so effectively. It's almost too simple.
Maybe. But often the most effective things are simple. It's the consistency, the small, sustainable actions that really add up over time, not necessarily the massive, drastic overhauls.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so wrapping this up, as we finish this deep dive into these everyday moments, what's the main takeaway? What should our listener be thinking about?
Well, I think the big message is that health and well-being aren't these separate clinical things we pursue outside of life. They're actually woven right into our daily routines, our chats, our plans.
Yeah, they happen in life.
Exactly. And those simple habits, especially when they're boosted by social connection, seem incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
They're the bedrock, really.
Absolutely. So for you listening, maybe take a second to think about your own day-to-day, your routines, your connections. Are there any small shifts inspired by these examples that you could try?
Mm-hmm. Maybe it is just that regular walk, or maybe it's reaching out to a friend to do something together, anything.
Yeah. Which connections could you lean into a bit more to support your well-being and theirs too?
And maybe one final thought to leave you with. Considering all these different parts, physical, mental, social, what's one perhaps unexpected area where making just a small change might create the biggest positive ripple effect in your own life. Something to ponder.